我是中国新闻社的记者。最近几年，
Short
大家对
hair
于托幼
in
服务
blue
和
suit.
学前教育非常的关注，像有这个社会的专家智库也提出了很多的意见。咱们政府工作报告也明确提出，要加强对于托幼服务的全程监管，并且要加大这个学前教育资源的供给。请问一下，咱们在这方面有没有什么具体的举措，以及学前教育的立法工作现在进展如何了？谢谢。
China News Service. Childcare services and preschool education have drawn a lot of attention across the country. Some think tanks and experts have put forth suggestions in this. Our Premier also mentioned in the government work report that we need to increase the supply of preschool educational resources through multiple channels and strengthen oversight over the whole process of childcare provision. What specific measures are being considered by the ministry in this regard? Also, what progress has been made with the legislation on preschool education?
这个学前教育啊，是新时期中国教育
Preschool education is indeed a big issue, our fastest growing component of the current education system, is also a big challenge for the current education system. From all aspects of the society, we're fully committed to preschool education. I would like to clarify one definition. The preschool education refers to the education for 3 to 6-year-olds. This is what we usually call the kindergarten education. This is precisely the definition of preschool education. We're highly committed to this issue, especially young parents. This is also becoming the biggest concern in their daily life. That is why our ministry, according to the overall planning of our state council, we also are committed to this issue. Just recently, we have organized a large-scale research and survey. We're connecting with or interacting with agencies of the State Council, covering more than a dozen provinces and areas to actually know what's happening on the ground. We organize a group of researchers and experts to conduct research projects, and also we invite embassy staff to provide feedback on their preschool education in their respective countries, actually conducting surveys in their countries regarding the preschool education. So we're analyzing the results coming from the 3 channels. We're actually writing reports on these subjects, working together with relevant agencies to design a future planning on this issue. In this process, our confidence is beefing up. We are greatly encouraged by the result we're seeing. I can just simply or give you some simple examples. After this research and survey, what we're feeling is that after the 18th CPC, China's preschool education has seen historical strides, big achievements, and also facing daunting tasks. What are the specific examples? Number 1, our service capability in this industry has been greatly improved. We have the largest scale preschool education in the world. In 2017, total number of students in preschool education system, 46 million. This is a country with a medium population. This is a huge number. Number 2, the accessibility as well as the development of the preschool education has seen great improvements. In 2017, the number of students who are enrolled in kindergartens is about 9.6%. The State Council has approved a 10-year development plan for preschool education. In this outline, we pointed out by 2020 this rate should be improved to 80%. In 2017 is about 79.6%. We're almost there. At this level, what does that mean? Simply by analyzing this enrollment rate, this is on par with a country with upper and medium income level. At this rate, compared to 5 years ago, we've seen a growth of 15 percentage points. That was number 2. Number 3, resources putting in this area have greatly surged. We haven't seen the actual numbers in 2017 yet, but in 2016, our resources put in this industry is about 270 billion yuan. Our investment in education, our fiscal investment, is about 130 billion yuan. The overall investment annual growth is about 16.9%. I'm talking about the 280 billion yuan. The fiscal investment, we've seen a 77% growth over the past 5 years in terms of fiscal investment in education. Number 4, and we're restructuring preschool education system in China. Since 2017, from the beginning of 2016, well, I'm going back to 2010. Since 2010, we have implemented 2 preschool education action plans. From last year marked the beginning of the 3rd action plan. In the previous 2 action plans in the past 5 or 6 years, what does that mean? What have we seen? In our kindergartens, we have about 255,000 kindergartens in general, and we have 160,000 private kindergartens. This is the number we're seeing. It's on a huge scale. Why am I saying we're restructuring the education system? In the process of the reform, the education system was dominated by public kindergartens, those organized by different agencies, but these were slowly eliminated. Those numbers are actually being reduced from 140,000 to 40,000. At the beginning of those action plans, we saw a small number of private kindergartens, but in a short time frame, we're seeing a big surge in the private kindergartens. That is why I am saying this is historical changes, historical achievements. However, in terms of the development, we're also facing daunting tasks and challenges because China has a huge population and there's inequitable resource allocation in preschool education. This is reflecting the big changes in the demand and supply of this industry, as well as our changes in our preschool education behaviors in different families. This is instrumental for the education industry. We understand there are some issues that are not fully reserved. I just talked about the 79.6% of enrollment rate of the kindergarten. We've seen great improvement. However, there is still unresolved issues. We need to focus on those unresolved issues, but also keep improving what we have achieved, because all the parents want their children to go to a high-quality kindergarten that is cheap, high quality, and also close to home. Close to home, high quality, and also economic. These are the three requirements from our parents. But what we are seeing now, among all those kindergartens, the inclusive kindergarten is also still lacking in our education system. This is a big challenge. Our fiscal investment and also the cost sharing structure is not well established yet. This is a big issue. And also those training staff, education staff still need higher education or higher quality training in the process of teaching and education. There's a lack of focus on regulation, oversight, and safety regulation. Most importantly, how we perceive preschool education. We need to further our understanding of preschool education. We need to change how we perceive it. These are the big issues in the next phase. So starting from this year, we will continue with some measures to improve preschool education. The first thing is to roll out our third action plan. This is the second year of the third action plan. We need to put this on the ground to determine our goals for the action plan. By 2020, we need to increase the numbers of the inclusive kindergarten, increasing the rate to 80%, the enrollment rate above 85%. These are the two goals, very specific in our action plan.
Secondly, build upon the previous survey, we need to strengthen the overarching design and come up with a policy that fits our current situation and also meet the demand of preschool education. This is what we're doing now. Thirdly, we need to continue to strengthen the oversight, especially oversight to registered kindergartens, to guide and lead kindergartens of all levels to improve their quality and to meet the rising demand. Fourth, the safety issue. Safety concern of kindergarten is different from the safety issues of primary school or middle school. Concerning all aspects of kindergarten age students, we have to guarantee the safety of those children in all aspects. Have to step up on safety measures, make sure the children can develop and learn in kindergarten safely and happily. Fifth, we need to prevent turning kindergartens into primary schools. Because many kindergarten teachers were previously working in primary schools, so they're using the same teaching methods to kindergarten children. And some parents want their children to accept primary school education earlier. So that has pushed kindergartens to actually change their way of teaching. They're giving up games and more entertaining way of teaching and switch to primary school style teaching. The current enrolled number of students in kindergartens is 46 million. We have to take reference of domestic and international experience, and to set the requirement for the ratio between teachers, staff to students, to make sure it's around teacher to student ratio is around 15:1, and make sure that every classroom has 1 teacher and 2 staffs. Now we have around 2.2 million kindergarten teachers, and we have 46 million kindergarten students, so the gap is 710,000. And also the gap for nursing staff is 6 million. So by 2020, we will have 4.31 million students ready for enrollment to kindergartens. So, according to this number, the gap for teacher is 290 teachers, and the gap for staff is 110,000. So in total, we need additional 1 million teachers and 900,000 staffs. In total, 1.9 million. This is a very big challenge. So training teachers and staffs is essential. And I have to emphasize one thing. We have to work hard to improve the treatment of teachers and staff. Many kindergartens, especially the private ones, pay their staff and teachers poorly. It's very common for those teachers to receive a monthly salary of 1,000, 2,000, and it will be impossible for them to feel stable and safe. And so high quality talents will never go into this occupation. And the last measure is through legislation. Legislation on preschool education. So we are working very hard to draft the new laws on preschool education. From preschool to post-secondary, we need a law for each stage of the student. Of course, we need to go through some legislative procedure. There's a certain life cycle for a law to be made. It takes time for a draft law to mature and to be passed. So that's the issues facing preschool education and the measures we've taken.